in thunder, lightning, or in rain.
When the hurly-burly's done, when the battle's lost and won.
That will be ere the set of sun.
And where the place?
Upon the heath.
There to meet with Macbeth.
Oh, I come, Grey Malkin.
Paddock calls.
Anon?
Fair is foul and foul is fair. Hover through the fog and filthy air.
Who is this bloody man? He can report, as seemeth by his plight, of the revolt, the newest state.
This is the sergeant, who, like a good and hardy soldier, fought against my captivity. Hail, brave friend! Say to the king thy knowledge of the broil as thou didst leave it.
Doubtful it stood, as two spent swimmers that do cling together and choke their art. The merciless MacDonald, worthy to be a rebel, for to that the multiplying villainies of nature that do swarm upon him, from the western isles of currents and gallaglasses is supplied, and fortune, on his damn quarrel smiling, showed like a rebel's whore. But all's too weak for brave Macbeth. Well, he deserves that name, disdaining fortune with his brandished steel, which smoked with bloody execution, like valor's minion carved out its passage, till he faced the slave, which never shook hands, nor bade farewell to him, till he enseamed him from the nave to the chops, and fixed his head upon our battlements.
Oh, valiant cousin, worthy gentlemen!
As whence the sun gins its reflection, shipwracking storms and direful thunders break. So from that spring, comfort seemed to come, discomfort swells. Mark, King of Scotland, mark, no sooner justice had, with valor armed, compelled these skipping currents to trust their heels. But the Norwegian lord, surveying vantage with furbished arms and new supplies of men, began a fresh assault.
Dismayed this not our captains, Macbeth and Banquo?
Yes, as sparrows, eagles, or the hare, the lion. If I say sooth, there is overly charged cannons with double cracks, so they doubly redoubled at the foe. But they meant to bathe in reeking wounds or memorize another Golgotha. I cannot tell, but I am faint. My gashes cry for help.
So well thy words become thee as thy wounds. They smack of honor both. Go get him surgeons. Who comes now?
The worthy Thane of Ross.
What a haste looks through his eyes. So should he look that seemed to seek things strange?
God save the king.
Whence camest thou, worthy Thane?
From Fife, great king, where the Norwegian banners flout the sky and fan our people cold. Norway himself, with terrible numbers, assisted by that most disloyal traitor, the Thane of Cawdor, began a dismal conflict, curbing his lavish spirit, and to conclude, the victory fell on us.
Great happiness!
That now, Sweno, the Norway's king, craves composition, nor would we deign him burial of his men, till he dispersed at St. Combs Lynch $10,000 to our general use.
No more that Thane of Cawdor shall deceive our bosom interest. Go pronounce his present death, and with his former title, greet Macbeth.
I'll see it done.
What he hath lost, noble Macbeth hath won.
Where hast thou been, sister?
Killing swine. Sister, where thou?
A sailor's wife had chestnuts in her lap, and munched, and munched, and munched. Give me, quoth I. All right thee, witch, that rump-fed Runyon cries. Her husband to Aleppo's gone, master of the tiger. But in a sieve, all through the sail, and like a rat without a tail. I'll do it, I'll do it, I'll do.
I'll give thee a win.
Thank you. Are kind.
And I another.
Oh, and I myself have all the other, and the very winds they'll blow. All the ports that we know in the shipman's card. I'll drain him dry as hay. Sleep shall neither night nor day hang upon his penthouse lid. He shall live, a man forbid. Weary, 7 9 times 9 shall he dwindle, peak, and pine. Yet his bark may not be lost, yet it shall be tempest tossed. Oh, look what I have here!
Show me.
A pilot's thumb, wrecked as homeward he did come!
A drum. Macbeth doth come. The weird sisters hand in hand, hosters of the sea and land, thus do go about, thrice to thine and thrice to mine, and thrice again to make up 9. Peace, the charms wound up.
So foul and fair a day I have not seen.
How far is it called to Forez? What are these so withered and so wild in their attire that look not like the inhabitants of the earth, and yet are on it? Live you, or are you aught that man may question? You seem to understand me. By each I once heard choppy fingers laid upon her skinny lips. You should be women, and yet your beards forbid me to interpret your so.
Speak if you can. What are you?
All hail Macbeth! All hail Thane of Glom!
All hail, Macbeth. Hail to thee, Thane of Cawdor.
All hail, Macbeth, that shalt be king hereafter.
Good sir, why do you start and seem to fear things that do sound so fair? In the name of truth, are ye fantastical, or that indeed which outwardly ye show? My noble partner you greet with present grace and great prediction of noble having and of royal hope, that he seems rapt withal. To me you speak not. If you can look into the seeds of time and say which grain will grow and which will not, speak then to me, who neither beg nor fear your favors nor your hate.
Hail!
Hail, hail.
Lesser than Macbeth, yet greater!
Not so happy, yet much happier.
Thou shalt get kings, though thou be none. So all hail Macbeth and Banquo.
Banquo and Macbeth! All hail!
Stay, you imperfect speakers! Tell me more! By Sinel's death I know I am Thane of Glom's, but how of Cawdor? The Thane of Cawdor lives, a prosperous gentleman, and to be king stands not within prospect of belief, no more than to be Cawdor. Say from whence you owe this strange intelligence, or why upon this blasted heath you stop our way with such prophetic greetings. Speak! I charge you!
The earth hath bubbles as the water has, and these are of them. Whither have they vanished?
Into the air, and what seemed corporeal melted as breath in the wind. Would they had stayed.
Were such things here as we did speak about? Or have we eaten upon the insane root that takes the reason prisoner?
Your children shall be kings.
You shall be king.
And Thane of Cawdor too, and did not so.
To the self-same tune and word. Who's here?
The king hath happily received, Macbeth, the news of thy success. And in viewing over the rest of the selfsame day, he finds thee in the stout Norwegian ranks, nothing afeard of what thyself didst make, strange images of death, as thick as tail, compost with post. And everyone did bear thy praises in his kingdom's great defense, and poured them down before him. We are sent to give thee from our royal master thanks, only to herald thee into his sight, not pay thee. And, for an earnest of a greater honor, he bade me, from him, call thee Thane of Cawdor, in which addition, hail, most worthy Thane, for it is thine.
What? Can the devil speak true?
The Thane of Cawdor lives. Why do you dress me in borrowed robes?
who was the Thane lives yet, but under heavy judgment bears that life which he deserves to lose. Whether he was combined with those of Norway, or did line the rebel with hidden help advantage, or that with both he labored in his country's wrack, I know not. But treason's capital, confessed and proved, have overthrown him.
Cloms and Thane of Cawdor, the greatest is behind. Thanks for your pains. Do you not hope your children will be kings when those that gave the Thane of Cawdor to me promised no less to them?
That trusted home might yet enkindle you into the crown, besides the Thane of Cawdor. But 'tis strange, and oftentimes when it's our harms, the instruments of darkness tells us truths and win us with honest trifles that betray in deepest consequence. Cousin, a word, I pray you.
Two truths are told as happy prologue to the swelling act of the imperial theme. Thank you, gentlemen. This supernatural soliciting cannot be ill, cannot be good. If ill, why hath it given me earnest of success commencing in a truth? I am Thane of Cawdor. If good, why do I yield to that suggestion whose horrid image doth unfix my hair and make my seated heart knock at my ribs against the use of nature? Present fears are worse than horrible imaginings. My thoughts, whose murder yet is but fantastical, shakes so my single state of man that function is smothered in surmise, and nothing is but what is not.
Look how our partner's wrapped.
Oh, if chance will have me king, why, chance may crown me without my stir.
New honors come upon him, like our strange garments cleave not to their mold, but with the aid of use.
Come what come may, time and the hour runs through the roughest day.
Worthy Macbeth, we stay upon your leisure.
Give me your favor, my dull brain was wrought with things forgotten. Kind gentlemen, your pains are registered where every day I turn the leaf to read them. Let us toward the king. Think on what has chanced, and in the meantime, the interim having weighed it, let us speak our free hearts, each to other.
Very gladly.
Till then, enough. Come, friends!
Is execution done on Cawdor? Are not those in commission yet returned?
My liege, they have not yet come back, but I have spoke with one who saw him die, who did report that very frankly he confessed his treasons, implored your highness's pardon, and set forth the deep repentance. Nothing in his life became him like the leaving it. He died as one who had been studied in his death to throw away the dearest thing he owned as 'twere a careless trifle.
There's no art to find the mind's construction in the face. He was a gentleman on whom I built an absolute trust. Oh, worthiest cousin, the sin of my ingratitude even now was heavy on me. Thou art so far before that swiftest wing of recompense is slow to overtake thee. Thou hast so earned that the proportion of thanks and payment might have been mine. But all I can say is, more's thy due than more than all can pay.
The service and loyalty I owe in doing it pays itself. Your highness's part is to receive our duties, and our duties are to your throne, and state children, and servants who do but what they should by doing all things safe towards your love and honor.
Welcome hither. I have begun to plant thee, and will labor to make thee full of growing. Noble Banquo, thou hast no less deserved, nor must be known no less to have done so. Let me enfold thee and hold thee to my heart.
There, if I grow, the harvest is your own.
My plenteous joys, wanton in fullness, seek to hide themselves in drops of sorrow. Sons, kinsmen, thanes, and you whose places are the nearest, Know that we will establish our estate upon our eldest, Malcolm, whom we name hereafter Prince of Cumberland, which honored must not unaccompanied invest him only, but signs of nobleness like stars shall shine on all deservers. Oh, hence to Inverness, and bind us closer to you.
The rest is labor which is not meant for you. I'll be myself the harbinger and make joyful the hearing of my wife with your approach. So humbly take my leave.
My worthy Commodore.
Oh! The Prince of Cumberland? That is a step on which I must fall down or leap, for in my way it lies. Stars, hide your fires. Let not light see my black and deep desires. The eye wink at the hand, and yet let that be which the eye fears when it is done to see.
True, noble Banquo, he is full so valiant, and in his commendations I am fed. It is a banquet to me. Let's after him, whose care has gone before to bid us welcome. It is a peerless kinsman.
They met me in the day of success, and I have learned by the perfectest report they have more in them than mortal knowledge. When I burned in desire to question them further, they made themselves air, into which they vanished. Whilst I stood wrapped in the wonder of it, came missives from the king, who hailed me Thane of Cawdor, by which title these weird sisters saluted me, and referred me to the coming on of time with Hail, King that shalt be! This have I thought good to deliver thee, my dearest partner of greatness, that thou mightst not lose the dues of rejoicing by being ignorant of what greatness is promised thee. Lay it to thy heart, and farewell. Gloms thou art, and Cawdor, and shalt be what thou art promised. Yet I do fear thy nature. It's too full of the milk of human kindness to catch the nearest way. Thou wouldst be great, art not without ambition, and yet without the illness should attend it. What thou wouldst highly, thou wouldst holily, wouldst not play false, and yet wouldst wrongly win. Thou'dst have great glams, that which cries, thus thou must do, if thou have it, and that which rather thou dost fear to do, than wished should be undone. Hie thee hither, that I may pour my spirits in thine ear, and chastise with the valor of my tongue all that impedes thee from the golden round, which fate and metaphysical aid doth seem to have thee crowned withal. What is your tidings?
The king comes here tonight.
Thou art mad to say it. Is not thy master with him, who, were it so, would have informed for preparation?
So please you, it is true, our Thane is coming. One of my fellows had the speed of him, who almost dead for breath had scarcely more than would make up his message.
Give him tending. He brings great news. The raven himself is hoarse that croaks the fatal entrance of Duncan under my battlements. Come, you spirits that tend on mortal thoughts, unsex me here and fill me from the crown to the toe, top full of direst cruelty. Make thick my blood.
Thank you.
Stop up the access and passage to remorse, that no compunctious visiting shake my fell purpose, nor keep peace between the effect and it. Come to my women's breasts and take my milk for gall, you murdering ministers, wherever in your sightless substances you wait on nature's mischief. Come, thick night, and pall thee in the dunnest smoke of hell, that my keen knife see not the wound it makes, nor heaven peep through the blanket of the dark to cry, hold, hold! Great Glums, worthy Cawdor! Greater than both by the all-hail hereafter, thy letters have transported me from beyond this ignorant present, and I feel now the future in the instant.
My dearest love.
Duncan comes here tonight. And when goes hence? Tomorrow, as he purposes. Oh, never shall sun that morrow see. Your face, my Thane, is as a book where men may read strange matters. To beguile the time, look like the time. Bear welcome in your eye, your hand, your tongue. Look like the innocent flower, but be the serpent under it. He that's coming must be provided for. And you shall put this night's great business into my dispatch, that shall, for all our nights and days to come, give solely sovereign sway and masterdom. We shall speak further. Only look up clear. To alter favor ever is to fear. Leave all the rest to me.
This castle hath a pleasant seat. The air nimbly and sweetly recommends itself unto our gentle senses.
This gust of summer, the temple-haunting martlet does approve by his love masonry that the heaven spread smells wooingly here. No jutty, frieze, buttress, nor coign of vantage. But this bird hath made his pendant bed and procreant cradle, where they most breed and haunt I have observed. The air is delicate.
See our honored hostess. The love that follows us sometimes is our trouble, which we still thank as love. Herein I teach you how you shall bid God ild us for your pains and thank us for your trouble.
All our service, and every point twice done, and then done double, were poor and single business to contend against those honors, deep and broad, wherewith your majesty loads our house. For those of old, and the late dignities heaped up to them, we rest your hermits.
Where's the Thane of Cawdor? We coursed him at heels and had purpose to be his purveyor. Oh, but he rides well, and his great love, sharp as a spur, hath holp him to his home before us. Fair and noble hostess, we are your guests tonight.
Your servants ever have theirs, themselves, and what is theirs, in compt, to make audit at your highness's pleasure, still to return your own.
Give me your hand, conduct me to mine host. We love him greatly and will continue our good graces toward him. By your leave, hostess.
if it were done, when it is done, 'twere well it were done quickly. If the assassination could trammel up the consequence, but catch with his surcease success, that but this blow might be the end-all and the be-all here. And here upon this bank and shoal of time we jump the life to come. But in these cases we still have judgment here, that we but teach bloody instruction, which, being taught, returns to plague the inventor. This even-handed justice commends the ingredients of our poisoned chalice to our own lips. He's here in double trust. First, as I am his kinsman and his subject, both strong against the deed. Then, as his host, who should against his murderer bar the door, not bear the knife myself. Besides, this Duncan hath borne his faculties so meek, hath been so clear in his great office, that his virtues might plead, trumpet-tongued against the deep damnation of his taking off, and pity, like a naked newborn babe striding the blast, or heaven's cherubim horsed upon the sightless couriers of the air, would blow such a horrid deed in every eye, that tears would drown the wind. I have no spur to prick the sides of my intent, only vaulting ambition which o'erleaps itself and falls on the other. How now? What news?
He's almost supped. Why have you left the chamber?
Hath he asked for me?
Know you not, he has.
We will proceed no further in this business. He hath honored me of late, and I have bought golden opinions from all sorts of people, which would be worn now in their newest gloss, and not cast aside so soon.
Was the hope drunk wherein you dressed yourself? Hath it slept since? And wakes it now to look so green and pale at what it had done so freely? From this time, such I account thy love. Art thou afeard to be the same in thine own act and valor as thou art in desire? Wouldst thou have that which thou esteemest the ornament of life, and live a coward in thine own esteem, letting I dare not wait upon I would, like the poor cat in the adage?
Prithee, peace. I dare do all that may become a man. Who dares do more is none.
What beast was then that made you break this enterprise to me? When you durst do it, then you were a man. And to be more than what you were, you would be so much more the man. Nor time nor place did then adhere, and yet you would make both. They have made themselves, and that their fitness now does unmake you. I have given suck, and know how tender it is to love the babe that milks me. I would, while it was smiling in my face, have plucked my nipples from his boneless gums and dashed the brains out had I so sworn as you have done to this.
If we should fail.
We fail? But screw your courage to the sticking place and will not fail. When Duncan is asleep, whereto the rather shall his day's hard journey soundly invite him. His two chamberlains will I, with wine and wassail, so convince that memory, the warder of the brain, shall be but a fume, and the receipt of reason a limbic only. When, in swinish sleep, their drenched natures lie as in a death, what cannot you and I perform upon the unguarded Duncan? What not put upon his spongy officers, who shall bear the guilt of our great quell?
Bring forth men children only, for thy undaunted mettle should compose nothing but males. Will it not be received when we have marked with blood those sleepy two of his own chamber, and used their very daggers that they have done it?
Who dares receive it other, as we shall make our grief and clamor roar upon his death?
I am settled, and bend up each corporeal agent to this terrible feat. Away, and mock the time with fairest show. False face must hide what the false heart doth know.
How goes the night, boy?
Moon's down. I've not heard the clock.
And she goes down at 12.
I take this later, sir.
Hold, take my sword. There's husbandry in heaven, and their candles are all out. Take thee that too. A heavy summons lies like lead upon me, and yet I would not sleep. Merciful powers restrain in me the cursed thoughts that nature gives way to in repose. Give me my sword. Who's there?
A friend!
What? Sir, not yet at rest. The king's abed. He hath been an unusual pleasure, and sent forth the great largest to your offices. This diamond he greets your wife withal, by the name of most kind hostess, and shut up in measureless content.
Being unprepared, our will became the servant to defect, which else should free have wrought.
All's well. I dreamt last night of the 3 weird sisters. To you they have shown some truth.
I think not of them. Yet, when we could entreat an hour to serve, we would spend it in some words upon that business, if you would grant the time.
At your kindest leisure.
If you shall cleave to my consent when it is, it shall make honor for you.
So I lose none in seeking to augment it, but keep my bosom franchise and allegiance clear. I shall be counseled.
Good repose the while.
Thanks, sir. The likes to you.
Go bid thy mistress when my drink is ready, she strike upon the bell. Get thee to bed. Is this a dagger I see before me? The handle toward my hand? Come, let me clutch thee. I have thee not, and yet I see thee still. Art thou not, fatal vision, sensible to feeling as to sight? Or art thou but a dagger of the mind, a false creation proceeding from a heat oppressed brain? I see thee yet, in form as palpable as this which now I draw. Thou marshallest me the way that I was going, and such an instrument I was to use. Mine eyes are made the fools of the other senses, or else worth all the rest. I see thee yet, and on thy blade indulging gouts of blood that was not so before. There's no such thing. It is the bloody business which informs thus to mine eyes. Now o'er the 1/2 world, nature seems dead, and wicked dreams abuse the curtain to sleep. Witchcraft celebrates pale Hecate's offering, and withered murder, alarmed by his sentinel the wolf, howls his watch, and thus his stealthy pace towards his design moves like a ghost. Thou sure and firm-set earth, hear not my steps, which way they walk, for fear that the very stones prate of my whereabouts, and take the horror from the present time which now suits with it. Whilst I threat, he lives. Words to the heat of deed too cold breath gives. I go, and it is done. The bell invites me. Hear it not, Duncan. It is a knell that summons thee to heaven. To hell.
That which hath made them drunk hath made me bold. What hath quenched them hath given me fire. Hark! 'Twas the owl that shrieked, the fatal bellman which gives the sternest good night. He is about it. The doors are open, and the surfeited grooms do mock their charge with snores. I have drugged their possets, that death and nature do contend about them, whether they live or die.
Who's there? What ho?
What? I'm afraid they have awaked and 'tis not done. The attempt and not the deed confounds us. Hark! I laid the daggers ready. He could not miss them. Had he not resembled my father as he slept, I'd have done it. My husband!
I have done the deed. Didst thou not hear a noise?
I heard the owl scream and the crickets cry. Did you not speak?
When?
Now.
As I descended?
Aye.
Who lies in the second chamber?
'Tis Malcolm.
Oh, this is a sorry sight.
A foolish thought to say a sorry sight.
One did laugh in his sleep, and one cried murder, that they did wake each other. I stood and heard them, but they did say their prayers and addressed them again to sleep.
There's two lodged together.
One cried, God bless us, and amen. The others, they had seen me with these hangman's hands. Listening their fear, I could not say amen when they did say God bless us.
Consider it not so deeply.
But wherefore could I not pronounce amen?
These deeds must not be thought after these ways. So will make us mad.
Methought I heard a voice cry, sleep no more. Macbeth has murdered sleep, the innocent sleep, sleep that knits up the raveled sleeve of care, the death of each day's life, sore labor's bath, balm of hurt minds, chief nourisher of life's feast, great nature's second course.
What do you mean?
No, still it cried, sleep no more to all the house. Glamis hath murdered sleep, and therefore Cawdor shall sleep no more. Macbeth shall sleep no more.
Who was it that thus cried? My worthy Thane, you do unbend yourself to think so brain-sickly of things. Go, get some water and wash this filthy witness from your hands. Why did you bring the daggers from the place? They must lie there. Go, carry them and smear the sleepy grooms with blood.
I'll go no more. I am afraid to think what I have done. To look on it again, I dare not.
Infirm of purpose, give me the daggers. The sleeping and the dead are but as pictures. 'Tis the eye of childhood that fears a painted devil. If he do bleed, I'll gild the faces of the grooms withal, for it must seem their guilt.
Whence is that knocking? Oh, what is it with me that every noise appalls me? What are these hands? Oh, they pluck out mine eyes. Would all great Neptune's oceans wash this blood clean from my hands? No. Rather, these hands with the multitudinous seas and gardening, making the green one red.
My hands are of your color, but I shame to wear a heart so white. I hear knocking at the south entry. Retire we to our chamber. A little water clears us of this deed. How easy is it then? Your constancy hath left you unattended. Hark, more knocking. Get on your nightgown, lest occasion call us and show us to be watchers. Be not lost so poorly in your thoughts.
To know my deed, 'twere best not know myself. Wake, Duncan, with thy knocking. I wouldst thou could.
Here's a knocking indeed. If a man were porter of Hellgate, he'd have old turning the key. Knock, knock, knock. Who's there in the name of Beelzebub? Oh, here's a farmer who hanged himself on the expectation of plenty. Come in time. Have napkins enough about you. Here you'll sweat for it. Knock, knock. Who's there in the other devil's name? Oh, faith. Here is an equivocator who could swear in both scales against either scale, who committed treason enough for God's sake, but could not equivocate to heaven. Oh, come on in, equivocator. Knock! Knock! Who's there? Oh, faith. Here is an English tailor come hither for stealing out of a French hose. Come in, tailor. Here may you roast your goose. Knock, knock, knock. Never it quiet. What are you? But this place is too cold for hell. I'll devil porter it no further. I had thought to let in some of all the professions that go the primrose way to the everlasting bonfire. Anon, anon, I pray you, remember the porter.
Was it so late, friend, ere you went to bed, that you do lie so late?
Faith, sir, we were carousing till the second cock, and drink, sir, is a great provoker of three things.
What three things does drink especially provoke?
Marry, sir, nose painting, sleep, and urine. Lechery, sir, it provokes, and it unprovokes. It provokes the desire, but it takes away the performance. Therefore, much drink can be said to be an equivocator with lechery. It makes him, and it mars him. It sets him on, and it takes him off. It persuades him, and it disheartens him. It makes him stand to and not stand to. In conclusion, equivocates in sleep, and giving him the lie, leaves him.
I believe drink gave thee the lie last night.
That it did, sir, in the very throat of me. But I requited him for his lie, and I think being too strong for him. Oh, he took out my leg sometime. I made a shift and cast him out.
Is thy master stirring? Our knocking has awaked him. Here he comes.
Good morrow, both.
Is the king stirring, worthy Thane?
Not yet.
Well, he did command me to call timely on him. I've almost slipped the hour.
I'll bring you to him.
I know this is joyful trouble to you, but yet 'tis one.
The labor we delight in physics pain. This is the door.
I'll make so bold to call, for 'tis my limited service.
Goes the king hence today?
He does. He did appoint so.
The night has been unruly. Where we lay our chimneys were blown down, and, as they say, lamentings heard in the air. Strange screams of death and prophesizing with accents terrible, new hatched to the woeful time. The obscure bird clamored the livelong night. Some say the earth was feverish and did shake.
'Twas a rough night.
My young remembrance cannot parallel a fellow to it.
Oh, horror! Horror! Tongue nor heart cannot conceive nor name thee!
What's the matter?
Confusion now hath made his masterpiece. Most sacrilegious murder hath broke up the Lord's anointed temple, and stole thence the life of the building.
What did you say, the life?
Mean you his majesty?
Approach the chamber and destroy your sight with new Gorgon. Do not bid me speak. See, and then speak yourselves. Awake! Awake! Ring the alarum bell! Murder and treason! Banquo! Malcolm! Awake! Shake off this downy sleep! Death's counterfeit! And look upon death itself! Up! Up! And see the great doom's image! Malcolm! Banquo! As from your graves, rise up and walk like sprites to countenance this horror! Ring the bell!
What's the business that such a hideous trumpet calls to parley the sleepers of this house? Speak! Speak!
Gentle lady, 'tis not for you to hear what I can speak. The repetition in a woman's ear would murder as it fell. Oh, Banquo! Banquo, our royal master's murdered!
Whoa! Alas! What, in our house?
To cruelty where, dear Duff, I prithee, contradict thyself and say it is not so.
Had I but died an hour before this chance, I had lived a blessed time, for from this moment there's nothing serious in mortality. All is but toys. Renown and grace is dead. The wine of life is drawn, and the mere lees are left the vault to brag of.
What is amiss?
You are and do not know it. The head, the spring, the fountain of your blood is stopped. The very source of it is stopped.
Your royal father's murdered.
Oh,
By whom?
Those of his chamber, as it seemed, had done it. Their hands and faces were badged with blood, so were their daggers, which, unwiped, we found upon their pillows. They stared and were distracted. No man's life was to be trusted with them.
Yet I do repent me of my fury that I did kill them.
Wherefore did you so?
Who can be wise, amazed, temperate and furious, loyal and neutral in a moment? No man. The expedition of my violent love outran the pause or reason. Here lay Duncan, his silver skin batched with his golden blood, his gashed stabs looking like a breach in nature for ruin's wasteful entrance. And there, the murderers, steeped in the color of their trade, their daggers unmannerly breached with gore. Who could refrain that had a heart to love, and in that heart, courage to make one's love known? Help me, own!
Look to the ladies.
Why do we hold our tongue that most may claim this argument for ours? What should be spoken here where our fate, hid in an auger hole, may rush and seize us? Let's away. Our tears are not yet brewed, nor our strong sorrow upon the foot of motion.
When we have our naked frailties hid that suffer an exposure, let us meet and question this most bloody piece of work to know it further. Fears and scruples shake us. In the great hand of God I stand. Thence against the undivulged pretense I fight a treasonous malice.
So do I.
So all. Let us briefly put on manly readiness and meet in the hall. Together.
Well contented.
Let's not consort with them. To show an unfelt sorrow is an office which the false man does easy. All to England, where we are their daggers and men's smiles. The nearer blood, the nearer bloody. This murderous shaft that shot hath not yet lighted, and our safest way is to avoid the aim. Therefore to horse, and let us not be dainty of leave-taking, but shift away. There's warrant in that theft that steals itself when there's no mercy left.
How goes the world now, sir?
Why see you not?
Is it known who did this more than bloody deed?
Those that Macbeth hath slain?
Alas the day, what good could they pretend?
They were suborned. Malcolm, the king's son, has stolen away and fled, which puts upon him suspicion of the deed.
Against nature still, thriftless ambition that will raven up thine own lives means. Then it is most like the sovereignty will fall upon Macbeth.
He's already named and gone to Scone to be invested.
Where is Duncan's body?
Carried to Colmkill, the sacred storehouse of his predecessors and guardian of their bones.
Will you to Scone?
No, cousin, all to Fife.
Well, I will thither.
Well, may you see things well done there. Adieu, lest our old robes sit easier than our new.
Thou hast it now, King, Cawdor, Glamis, all as the weird women promised, and I fear thou playest most foully for it. Yet it was said it should not stand in thy posterity, but that myself should be the root and father of many kings. If there come truth from them, as upon thee, Macbeth, their speeches shine, may they not be my oracles as well, and set me up in hope. But hush, no more.
Here's our chief guest.
If he'd been forgotten, it had been a gap in our great feast, an all thing unbecoming.
Tonight we hold a solemn supper, sir, and I'll request your presence.
Let your highness command upon me, to the which my duties are with the most indissoluble tie for evidence.
Ride you this afternoon?
Aye, my good lord.
We had else desired your good advice, which still hath been both grave and prosperous in this day's council. But we'll take tomorrow, when therewithal we shall have the cause of state craving us jointly. Is it far you ride?
As far, my lord, as will fill up the time twixt this and supper. Go not my horse the better, for I must become a borrower of the night for a dark hour or twain.
Fail not our feast.
I will not, my lord.
We hear our bloody cousin is bestowed in England, not confessing his cruel patricide and filling his hearers with strange invention. But of that tomorrow. Hie you to horse. Adieu, till you return at night. Goes Fleance with you?
Aye, my lord. Our time does come upon us.
I wish your horses swift and sure of foot, and so I do commend you to their backs. Farewell. Let every man be master of his time till 7 at night. To make society the sweeter welcome, we will keep ourselves till supper time alone. Till then, God be with you. Sirrah, a word. Attend those men our pleasure?
They are, my lord, without the palace gate.
Bring them before us. To be thus is nothing, but to be safely thus. Our fears in Banquo stick deep, and in his royalty of nature reigns that which would be feared. It is much he dares, and to that dauntless temper of his mind, he hath a wisdom that doth guide his valor to act in safety. There is none but he whose being I do fear, and under him my genius is rebuked, as it is said Mark Antony's was by Caesar. He chid the weird sisters when first they put the name of king upon me, and bade them speak to him. Then, prophet-like, they hailed him father to a line of kings. Upon my head they've placed a fruitless crown, and put a barren scepter in my grip, thus to be wrenched with an unlinealed hand, no son of mine succeeding. If it be so, for Banquo's issue have I filed my mind. For them, the gracious Duncan, have I murdered. Put rancor in the vessel of my peace only for them, and mine eternal jewel given to that common enemy of man, to make them kings, the seed of Banquo kings? Rather than so, come fate into the list, and champion me to the utterance. Who's there? Go to the door and stay there till we call. Was it not yesterday we spoke together?
It was, so please your highness.
Well then, now have you considered of our speeches? Know that it was he, in times past, which held you so under fortune, which you thought had been our innocent self. This I made known to you in our last conference, passed in probation with you, how you were borne in hand, how crossed, the instruments, who wrought with them, and all things else that might, to have a soul and a notion crazed, say, thus did Banquo.
You made it known to us.
I did so, and went further, which is now the point of our second meeting. Do you find your patience so predominant in your nature that you could let this go? Are you so gospeled to pray for this good man and his issue, whose heavy hand hath bowed you to the grave and beggared yours forever?
We are men, my liege.
Aye, in the catalogue ye go for men, as hounds and greyhounds, mongrels, spaniels, curs, shuffs, water rugs, and demi-wolves are clept all by the name of dog. The valued file distinguishes the swift, the slow, the subtle, the housekeeper, and the hunter. Every one according to that gift which bounteous nature hath in him closed, whereby he does receive particular addition from the bill that writes them all alike.
and so of men. Now, if you have a station in the file, not in the worst rank of manhood, say it. And I will put that business in your bosom whose execution takes your enemy off, grapples you to the heart and love of us who wear our health but sickly in this life, which in his death were perfect.
I am one, my lord, whom the vile blows and buffets of the world have so incensed I am reckless what I do, despite the world.
And I another, so weary with disasters that I would set my life on any chance to mend it or be rid of it.
Both of you know Banquo was your enemy.
True, my lord.
So is he mine, and in such bloody distance that every minute of his being thrusts against my nearest of life. And though I could, with barefaced power, sweep him from my sight and bid my will avouch it, yet I must not. For certain friends that are both his and mine, whose loves I may not drop, but wail his fall, whom I myself struck down. Thence it is that I, to your assistance, do make love, masking the business from the common eye for sundry weighty reasons.
We shall, my lord, perform the task you command us.
Though our lives may be ended.
Your spirits shine through you. Within this hour, at most, I will advise you where to plant yourselves, acquaint you with the perfect spy on the time, the moment on it, for it must be done tonight. And something from the palace. Always thought that I require a clearness. And with him, to leave no rubs or botches in the work, his son, Fleance, who keeps him company, whose absence is no less material to me than his father's, must embrace the fate of that dark hour. Resolve yourselves apart. I'll come to you anon.
We are resolved, my lord.
We will speak soon. Abide within. It is concluded. Banquo, if thy soul's flight would find heaven, must find it out tonight.
Is Banquo gone from court?
Aye, madame, but returns again tonight.
Say to the king I would attend his leisure for a few words.
Madame, I will.
Naught had, all spent, where our desire is caught without content. 'Tis safer to be that which we destroy than by destruction dwell in doubtful joy. How now, my lord? Why do you keep alone of sorriest fancies your companions making, using those thoughts which indeed should have died with them they think on? Things without all remedy should be without regard. What's done is done.
We have scorched the snake, not killed it. She'll close and be herself, whilst our poor malice remains in danger of her former tooth. Let the frame of things disjoint and both the worlds suffer, ere we eat our meals in fear and sleep in the affliction of these terrible dreams which shake us nightly. Better to be with the dead, whom we, to gain our peace, have sent to peace, than on the torture of the mind to lie in restless ecstasy. Duncan is in his grave. After life's fitful fever, he sleeps well. Treason has done his worst. Not steel, nor poison, malice, domestic, foreign levy, nothing can touch him further!
Come on, gentle my lord. Slake o'er your rugged looks. Be bright and jovial amongst your guests tonight.
So I shall, love, and so, I pray, be you. Let your remembrance apply to Banquo. Present him eminence, both in eye and tongue. Unsafe the while that we must lave our honors in these flattering streams, make our faces vizards to our hearts, disgust
disguising what they are.
You must leave this.
Full of scorpions is my mind, dear wife. Thou knowest that Banquo and his Fleance lives.
But in them nature's copies not etern.
There's comfort yet. They are assailable. Then be thou jocund, ere the bat hath flown his cloistered flight, ere to black Hecate's summons the shard-born beetle whose drowsy hums have rung night's yawning peal. There shall be done a deed of dreadful note.
What's to be done?
Be innocent of the knowledge, dearest Chuck, till thou applaudst the deed. Come, sealing night, and scarf up the tender eye of pitiful day, and with thy bloody and invisible hand cancel and tear to pieces that great bond which keeps me pale. Light thickens, and the crow makes wing to the rooky wood. Good things of day begin to droop and drowse, as night's black agents to their prey do rouse. Thou marvels at my words, but hold thee still. Things bad begun make strong themselves by ill. So prithee, go with me.
Who bid thee join us?
Macbeth.
He needs not our mistrust, as he delivers our offices and what we are to do to the direction just.
Well, stand with us. The west yet glimmers streaks a day, and spurs the lated traveler to timely end, and near approaches the subject of our watch.
Hark, I hear horses.
There's a light there, ho.
'Tis he, and the rest of our note of expectation are already in the court.
His horses go about.
Almost a mile, but he does usually, so all men do. From hence to the palace gate make it their walk.
A light.
'Tis he.
Stand to it.
There will be rain tonight.
Let it come down.
Fly, good Fleance, fly. Thou mayest revenge, O slave.
Who did strike out the light?
Was not the way?
There's but one down, the sun is fled.
We've lost best half of our affair.
Well, let's away and say how much has been done.
You know your own degrees. Sit down. At first, at last, the hearty welcome.
Thanks to your majesty.
Ourself will play the humble host and mingle with society. Our hostess keeps her state, but we will, in due time, require her welcome.
Pronounce it for me, sir, to all our friends, for my heart speaks. They are welcome.
See, they encounter thee with their heart's thanks. Both sides are even. Here I'll sit in the midst, be large at mirth. Anon we'll drink a measure, the table round. There's blood upon thy face.
'Tis Banquo's then.
Oh, 'tis better thee without than he within. Is he dispatched?
Aye, my lord. His throat is slit. That I did for him.
Oh, thou art the best of the cutthroats. Yet he's good that did the like for Fleance. If thou didst it, thou art the nonpareil.
Your Royal Highness, Fleance is escaped.
Then comes my fit again. I had else been perfect, whole as the marble, founded as the rock, as broad and general as the casing air. But now I am cabined, crippled, confined, bound into saucy doubts and fears. But Banquo's safe.
Aye, my lord. Safe in the ditch he bides, with 20 trench gashes about his head, the least a death to nature.
Thanks for that. There the grown serpent lies. The worm that's fled hath nature that in time will venom breed. No teeth for the present. Get thee gone. Tomorrow we'll hear ourselves anon.
My royal lord, you do not give the cheer. The feast is sold that is not often vouched, while 'tis a making, 'tis given with welcome. To feed we're best at home. From thence, the sauce to meat is ceremony. Meeting we're bare without it.
Sweet remembrancer. Good digestion wait on appetite, and health to both.
Please, if it please your highness, sit.
Here had we now our country's honor roofed, were but the graced person of our Banquo present, whom rather may I challenge for unkindness than pity for mischance.
His absence, sir, lays blame upon his promise. Please it your highness to grace us with your royal company.
The table's full.
Here's a place reserved, sir.
Where?
Here, my good lord. What is it that moves you?
Which of you have done this?
What, my good lord?
Thou canst not say that I did it. Never shake thy gory locks at me.
Gentlemen, rise! His highness is not well.
Sit, worthy friends. My lord is often thus, and hath been from his youth. Pray you, keep seat. If much you note him, you shall offend him, and extend his passion. Feed, and regard him not. Are you a man?
I, and a bold one that dare look on that which may appall the devil.
Oh, proper stuff. This is the very painting of your fear. This is the air-drawn dagger which you said led you to Duncan. Oh, these flaws and starts, impostors to true fear, would well condone a woman's story at a winter fire, authorized by her grandam. Shame itself, why do you make such faces? When all is done, you look but on a stool.
Oh, pray you, see there. Look, lo, behold. Oh, what say you? Why, what care I? Thou canst not speak to. If charnel houses in our graves must send those we bury back, our monuments shall be the maws of kites.
What? Quite unmanned in folly?
As I stand here, I saw him.
Fie! For shame!
Blood hath been shed ere now. In the olden days, ere the human statute purged the gentle wheel. Aye, and since then 2 murders have been performed, 2 terrible for the ear. The time had been when the brains were out, the man would die, and there an end. But now they rise again with 20 mortal murders on their crowns and push us from our stools. This is more strange than such a murder is.
My royal lord, your worthy friends do lack you.
I do forget. Do not muse at me, most worthy friends. I have a strange infirmity which is nothing to those that know me. Come, love and health to all. I'll sit down. Anon we'll drink and measure the table round. Give us some wine. Fill full. I drink to the general joy of the whole table, and to our dear friend Banquo, whom we miss. Would he were here! To him and all we thirst, and all to all.
Our duties and the pledge.
Avaunt and quit my sight! Let the earth hide thee, thy bones are marrowless, thy blood is cold! Thou hast no speculation in those eyes that thou dost glare with!
Think of this, worthy peers, but as a thing of custom, 'tis no other, only it spoils the pleasure of the time.
What man dare? I dare! Approach thou like the rugged Russian bear, the harmed rhinoceros, the harkened tiger. Take any form but that, and
my firm nerves would never tremble, or be alive again and dare me to the desert with thy sword. If trembling I should inhabit then, why, protest me the baby of a girl. Hence, horrible shadow, unreal mockery, hence! Why so? Being gone, I am man again. Pray you sit still.
You have displaced the mirth, broken the good meeting with most admired disorder.
Can such things be and overcome us like a summer cloud without our special wonder? You make me strange, even to the disposition I owe, to think that you can behold such sights and keep the natural ruby of your cheeks while mine is blanched with fear.
What sights, my lord?
I pray you, speak not. He grows worse and worse. Question enrages him. At once, good night. Stand not upon the order of your going, but go at once.
Good night, and better health attend his majesty.
A kind good night to all.
It will have blood, they say. Blood will have blood. Stones have been known to move and trees to speak. Augurs and the understood relations have, by maggot pies and choughs and rooks, brought forth the secretest man of blood. What is the night?
Almost at odds with the morning, which is which?
How sayest thou that Macduff denies his person at our great bidding?
Did you send to him, sir?
I hear it by the way, but I will send. There's not a one of 'em but in his house I keep a servant feed. Tomorrow I will. At bedtimes, I will to the weird sisters. More shall they speak, for now I am bent to know by the worst means. The worst. For my own good, all other causes shall give way. I am in blood stepped in so far that to wade no more returning were as tedious as to go o'er. Strange things I have in head, which will to hand, which must be acted ere they may be scanned.
You lack the season of all natures. Sleep.
Come, we'll sleep. My strange and self-abuse is the initiate fear that wants hard use. We are yet but young indeed.
My former speeches have but hit your thoughts, which can interpret further. Only I say things have been strangely born. The gracious Duncan was pitied by Macbeth. Marry, he was dead. And the right valiant Banquo walked too late, whom you say, if it please you, Fleance killed, for Fleance fled. Men must not walk too late. How monstrous the thought it was for Malcolm to kill his gracious father. Damned fact, how it did grieve Macbeth. Did he not straight in pious rage the two delinquents tear that were the slaves of drink and thralls of sleep? Was that not nobly done? Aye, and wisely too, for 'twould have angered any heart alive to hear the men deny it. So that I say he has borne all things well. And I do think that had he Duncan's son under his key, as ain't please heaven he shall not, he would find what 'twere to kill a father. So should Fleance. But peace, for from broad words, and 'cause he failed his presence at the tyrant's feast, I hear Macduff lives in disgrace. Sir, can you tell me where he bestows himself?
The son of Duncan, from whom this tyrant holds the due of birth, lives in the English court and is received of the most pious Edward with such grace that the malevolence of fortune nothing takes from his high respect. Thither Macduff is gone to pray the holy king upon his aid, to wake Northumberland and warlike Siward, that by the help of these, with him above to ratify the work, we may again give to our tables meat, sleep to our nights, free from our feasts and bloody banquets, bloody knives. Do faithful homage and receive free honors, all which we pine for now. And this report hath so exasperated the king that he prepares for some attempt of war.
Sent he to Macduff?
He did, and with an absolute, "Sir, not I." The cloudy messenger turns me his back and hums as who should say, "You'll rue the time that clogs me with this answer."
And that well might advise him to a caution, to hold what distance his wisdom can provide. Some holy angel fly to the court of England with this message ere he come, that a swift blessing may soon return to this our suffering country under a hand accursed.
I'll send my prayers with him.
Thrice the brinded cat had mewed.
Thrice, and once the hedge pig whined.
Harper cries, "'Tis time, 'tis time."
Round about the cauldron go, in the poisoned entrails throw. Toad, that under cold stone, days and nights has 31, sweltered venom sleeping got. Boil thou first in a charmed pot! Double, double toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble.
Fillet of a fenny snake, in the cauldron boil and bake. Eye of newt, toe of frog, wool of bat, tongue of dog, adder's fork, and blind worm's sting, lizard's leg, and owlet's wing, for a charm of powerful trouble, like a hell broth boil and bubble. Double, double toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble.
Scale of dragon, tooth of wolf, which is mummy, maw and gulf of the ravine salt sea shark, root of hemlock diggeth dark, liver of the blaspheming Jew, gall of goat, and sips of yew slivered in the moon's eclipse, nose of Turk and Tartar's lips, finger of birth strangled babe, delivered by a drop, make the gruel thick and slab, add thereto a tiger's children for the ingredients of our cauldron.
Double, double toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble.
Cool it with the baboon's blood. Then the charm is firm and good. By the pricking of my thumbs, something wicked this way comes. Open locks, whoever knocks.
How now, you secret black and midnight hags? What is it you do? A deed without a name.
I conjure you by that which you profess. Howe'er you came to know it, answer me. Though you untie the winds and let them fight against the churches, though the yeasty waves confound and swallow navigation up, though bladed corn be lodged and trees blown down, though castles topple on their warders' heads, though palaces and pyramids do slope their heads to their foundations, though the Germans of nature's treasure tumble all together, even till destruction sicken. Answer me to what I ask you.
Speak.
Demand.
Will answer.
Say, if thou hadst rather hear it from our mouths or from our masters.
Call 'em. Let me see them.
Pouring sow's blood that hath eaten her line Pharaoh. Grease that's smitten from the murders, give it pour into the flame. Come high or low, thyself in office deftly show.
Tell me, thou unknownst power.
Macbeth. Macbeth! Macbeth! Beware, Macduff. Beware the Thane of Fife. Dismiss me. Enough.
Whate'er thou art, for thy good caution, thanks. Thou hast harped my fears aright, but one word more.
He will not be commanded. Here's another, more potent than the first.
Macbeth. Macbeth. Macbeth.
Had I 3 ears, I'd hear thee.
Be bloody, bold, and resolute. Laugh to scorn the power of man, for none of women born shall harm Macbeth.
Then live, Macduff. What need I fear of thee? Thou shalt not live. I'll take a bond of fate and make assurance double sure. Thou shalt not live that I may tell pale-hearted fear it lies and sleep in spite of thunder. What is this that rises like the issue of a king and wears upon his brow the top and round of sovereignty?
Listen, but speak not to it.
Be lion-mettled, proud, and take no care who chafes, who frets, or where conspirers are. Macbeth shall never vanquished be until great Burnham Wood, too high Dunsinane Hill, shall come against him.
That shall never be! Who can impress the forest, bid the tree unfix his earthbound roots? Oh, sweet bodements, good! Rebellious dead, rise never to the wood of Burnham rise, and our high-placed Macbeth shall live the lease of nature and pay his breath to time and mortal customs. Yet, my heart throbs to know one thing more. Tell me, if your arts can tell so much, will Banquo's issue ever reign in this kingdom?
Seek to know no more.
I will be satisfied. Deny me this, and an eternal curse fall on Let me know! Why sinks the cauldron? What noise is this?
Show his eyes and grieve his heart. Come like shadows, so depart.
Thou art too like the spirit of Banquo. Down! Thy crown does sear mine eyeballs. Thy other gold-bound brow is like the first. A third is like the former. Filthy hag! Why do you show me this? A fourth? Oh, start eyes, what? Will the line stretch out to the crack of doom? Another yet? A seventh? I'll see no more! And yet, an eighth appears who bears a glass that shows me many more. And some I see the twofold ball and treble scepters carry. Oh, horrible sight! And yet I see it is true. For the blood-boltered Banquo smiles at me and points at them for his. What? Is this so?
Aye, oh, this is so. But why standeth Macbeth thus amazedly? Come, sisters, cheer us up his sprites, and show the best of our delights. I'll charm the air to give a sound, ooh, while you perform your antics round, ooh, that our great king may kindly say, his duty did, his welcome pay.
Where are they? Gone? Oh, let this pernicious hour stand I accursed in the calendar. Come in without there.
What your grace's will?
Saw you the weird sisters?
No, my lord.
Came they not
by you?
No, indeed, my lord.
Oh, infected be the air upon which they ride, and damned all those that trust them. I did hear the galloping of horses. Who was it that came by?
'Tis 2 or 3, my lord, did bring word. Macduff is fled to England.
Fled to England?
Aye, my lord.
Time thou anticipatest my dread exploits. This flighty purpose ne'er is overtook unless the deed go with it. From this moment, the first things of my heart shall be the first things of my hand. And thus, to crown my thoughts with acts, be it thought and done. The castle of Macduff I will surprise, seize upon Fife, give to the edge of the sword his wife, his babes, and all unfortunate souls that trace him in his line. No boasting like a fool. This deed I'll do before the purpose cool. No more sights. Where are these gentlemen? Bring me to them.
What hath he done to make him fly the land?
You must have patience, madame.
Patience. He had none. To fly was madness.
You know not whether it was his wisdom or his fear.
His wisdom? To leave his wife? To leave his babes? To leave his mansion? To leave his titles in a place from whence he himself does flee? No, he loves us not. He wants the natural touch. The poor wren, the most diminutive of birds, will fight her babes in the nest against the owl. Little is the love and much is the fear. Little is the wisdom. For him to flight is no reason.
My dearest coz, I pray you school yourself. Before your husband, he best knows the fits of the season. He is noble, wise, judicious. I dare not speak much further, but cruel are the times when we are traitors and do not know ourselves, when we hold rumor from what we fear, yet know not what we fear, but float upon a wild and violent sea each way and none. I take my leave of you. Shall not be long, but I'll be here again. Things at the worst will cease, or else climb upward to what they were before. My pretty cousin, blessing upon you.
Fathered, and yet he is fatherless.
I am so much a fool. Should I stay longer, it would be my disgrace and your discomfort. I take my leave at once.
Sirrah, your father is dead. What will you do now? How will you live?
As the birds do, Mother.
What, with the worms and the flies?
With what I get, I mean, and so do they.
Poor bird. You never did fear the net, the line, nor the gin.
Why should I, Mother? Poor birds, they're not set for. My father's not dead, for all you're saying.
Yes, he is dead. What wilt thou do for a father?
Nay, how wilt thou do for a husband?
I can buy 20 at any market.
Then you'll buy him to sell again.
Oh, monkey. What wilt thou do for a father?
Was my father a traitor, Mother?
Aye, that he was.
What is a traitor?
One that swears and lies.
And be all traitors that do so?
Everyone that does so is a traitor and must be hanged.
And must they all be hanged that swear and lie?
Everyone.
Who must hang them?
Why, the honest men.
And the liars and swearers are fools, for enough liars and swearers to beat the honest men and hang up them.
Oh. You poor monkey, how thou talk'st. But what wilt thou do for a father?
If he were dead, you do weep for him. If you would not, it were a good sign you should quickly have a new father.
Oh, prattler, how thou talk'st.
Bless you, fair dame. I am not to you known, though in your state of honor I am perfect. I doubt some danger does approach you nearly. If you will take a homely man's advice, be not found here. Hence with your little ones. To fright you thus, methinks, I am too savage. To do worse to you were fell cruelty, which is too nigh on your person. Heaven preserve you. I dare abide no longer.
Whither shall I flee? I have done no harm. Oh, I remember I am part of this earthly world where to do harm is often laudable and to do goodness sometimes found dangerous folly. And why do I put such forth a womanly defense to say I've done no harm? What are these faces?
Where's your husband?
And hopefully no unsanctified a place as to find you two.
He is a traitor.
Doth lie, thou shag-haired villain.
You egg, you fry of treachery.
No.
He has killed me, mother. Run away, I pray you.
Out some desolate shade, and there weep our sad bosoms empty.
Let us rather hold fast the mortal sword, and like good men, bestride our downfall and bird them. Each new morn, new widow's howl, new orphan's cry, new sorrows strike heaven on the face, that it resounds as if it felt with Scotland and cried out like syllable of dolour.
What I believe, I'll wail. What no believe, and what I can redress, as I shall find the time to friend, I will. What you have spoke, it may be so perchance. This tyrant whose sole name blisters our tongue was once thought honest. You have loved him well. He hath not touched you yet. I am young, but something you may deserve of him through me and wisdom, to offer up a weak, poor, innocent lamb to appease an angry god.
I am not treacherous.
But Macbeth is. A good and virtuous nature may recoil in an imperial charge. But I shall beg your pardon. That which you are, my thoughts cannot transpose. Angels are bright still, though the brightest fell. Even though all things foul would wear the brows of grace, yet grace must still look so.
I've lost my hopes.
Perchance even there where I did find my doubts. Why in that rawness left you wife and child? Those precious motives, those strong knots of love without leave-taking. I pray you let not my jealousies be your dishonors, but mine own safeties. You may be rightly just, whatever I shall think.
Bleed, bleed, poor country. Great tyranny, lay thou thy bases sure, for goodness dare not check thee. Wear thou thy wrongs, the title is feared. Fare thee well, Lord. I would not be the villain that thou thinkest for the whole space that's in the tyrant's grasp, and the rich east to boot.
Be not offended. I speak not as an absolute fear of you. I think our country sinks beneath the yoke. It weeps, it bleeds, and each new day a gash is added to her wounds. I think withal there would be hands uplifted in my right, and here from gracious England have I offer of goodly thousands. But for all this, when I shall tread upon the tyrant's head, or wear it on my sword, yet my poor country will have more vices than it had before, more suffer more sundry ways than ever by him that shall succeed.
What should he be?
It is myself, I mean, in whom I know all the particulars of vice so grafted that when they shall be opened, black Macbeth will seem as pure as snow, and the poor state esteem him a lamb, being compared to my confineless harms.
Not in the legions of horrid hell can come a devil more damned in evil to top Macbeth.
I grant him bloody, luxurious, avaricious, false, deceitful, sudden, malicious, smacking of every sin that has a name. But there is no bottom, none in my voluptuousness. Your wives, your daughters, your matrons, and your maids could not fill up the cistern of my lust, and my desire all continent impediment overbear that did oppose my will. Better Macbeth than such a one to reign.
Boundless intemperance in nature is a tyranny. It hath been the untimely emptying of the happy throne and fall of many kings. Yet, fear not yet to take upon you what is yours. You may convey your pleasures in a spacious plenty, and yet seem cold the time you may so hoodwink. We have willing dames enough. There cannot be that vulture in you to devour so many as will to greatness dedicate themselves, finding it so inclined.
With this there grows in my most ill-composed affection a staunchless avarice that, were I king, I should cut off the nobles for their lands, desire this one's house, this other's jewels, and my more having would be as a sauce to make me hunger, that I should forge quarrels unjust with the good and loyal, destroying them for wealth.
This avarice sticks deeper, and grows more pernicious root than summer-seeming lust, and hath been the sword of our slain kings. Yet do not fear, Scotland hath foisons to fill up your will of your mere own. All these are portable, with other graces weighed.
But I have none. The king becoming graces as justice, verity, temperance, stableness, bounty, perseverance, mercy, lowliness, devotion, patience, courage, fortitude. I have no relish of them, but abound in the division of each several crime, acting it many ways. Nay, had I power, I would pour the sweet milk of concord into hell, uproar the universal peace, confound all unity on earth.
Oh, Scotland, Scotland!
If such a one be fit to govern, speak. I am as I have spoken.
Fit to govern? No, not to live. Oh, nation miserable, with an untitled tyrant, bloody sceptered, when shalt thou see thy wholesome days again? Since that the truest issue of thy throne, by his own interdiction, standeth cursed and does blaspheme his breed. Thy royal father was a most sainted king. The queen that bore thee, oftener on her knees than on her feet, died every day she lived. Fare thee well. These evils that thou repeatest upon thyself have banished me from Scotland. Oh, my breast, my hope is here.
Macduff, this noble passion, child of integrity, hath from my soul wiped the black scruples and reconciled my thoughts to thy good truth and honor. A devilish Macbeth by many of these trains hath sought to win me into his power, and modest wisdom plucks me from overcredulous haste. But God above deal between thee and me, for even now I put myself to thy direction, and unspeak mine own detractions, here abjure the taints and blames I laid upon myself for strangers to my nature. I am yet unknown to woman, never was forsworn, have scarcely coveted what was mine own, would not betray the devil to his fellow, at no time have broke my faith and delight, no less in truth than in life. My first false speaking was this upon myself. What I am, truly, is thy and my poor country's to command. Whither indeed, before thy here approach, old Siward and 10,000 warlike men already at a point was setting forth. Now we'll together, and our chance of goodness be like our warranted quarrel. Why are you silent?
Such welcome and unwelcome things at once. 'Tis hard to reconcile. Oh, see, who comes here?
My countryman, but yet I know him not.
My ever-gentle cousin, welcome hither.
I know him now. Good God. Betimes remove the means that make us strangers.
Sir, amen.
Stand Scotland where it did.
Alas, poor country, almost afraid to know itself. It cannot be called our mother, but our grave, where nothing, but who knows nothing, is once seen to smile, where sighs and groans and shrieks that rend the air are made, not marked, where violent sorrow seems a modern ecstasy. The dead man's knell is there scarce asked for who, and good men's lives expire before the flowers in their caps, dying or ere they sicken.
Oh, relation, too nice, and yet too true.
What's the newest grief?
That of an hour's age doth hiss the speaker. Each minute teems a new one.
How does my wife?
Why, well.
And all my children?
Well, too.
The tyrant hath not battered at their peace?
No, they were well at peace when I did leave them.
Be not illiberal of your speech. How goes it?
When I came hither to transport the tidings, which I have heavily borne, there ran a rumor of many worthy fellow that were out, which was to my belief witness the rather, for that I saw the tyrant's power afoot. Now is the time of help. Your eye in Scotland would create soldiers, make our women fight to doff their dire distresses.
Be it their comfort, we are coming thither. Gracious England hath lent us good Siward and 10,000 men. An older and a better soldier none than Christendom gives out.
Would I could answer this comfort with the like, but I have words that would be held out in the desert air, where hearing should not latch them.
What concern they? The general cause, or is it a fee grief due to some single breast?
No mind that's honest, but in it shares some woe, though the main part pertains to you alone.
If it be mine, keep it not from me. Quickly, let me have it.
Let not your ears despise my tongue forever, which shall possess them with the heaviest sound that ever yet they heard.
I guess at it.
Your castle is surprised, your wife and babes savagely slaughtered. To relate the manner were on the quarry of these murdered deer to add the death of you.
Merciful heavens. What, man? Ne'er pull your hat upon your brows. Give sorrow words. The grief that does not speak whispers the overfraught heart and bids it break.
My children too.
Wife, children, servants, all that could be found.
And I must be from thence. My wife killed too.
I have said.
Be comforted. Let us make medicines of our great revenge to cure this deadly grief.
He has no children. All my pretty ones. Did you say all? Oh, kite! All my pretty chicks in their dam, and one fell swoop!
Dispute it, like a man.
I shall do so! But I must also feel it as a man. I cannot remember such things that were most precious to me. Did heaven look on, and would not take their part? Sinful Macduff, they were all struck for thee. Not that I am, not for their own demerits, but for mine. Fell slaughter on their souls. Heaven rest them now.
Be this the whetstone of your sword. Let grief convert to anger. Blunt not the heart, enrage it.
Oh, I could play the woman with mine eyes and braggart with my tongue. But yet till have its cut short all intermission. Front to front, bring thou this fiend of Scotland and myself. Within my sword's link set him. If he escape, heaven forgive him too.
This tune goes manly. Come, go we to the king. Our power is ready, our lack is nothing but our leave. Macbeth is ripe for shaking, and the powers above put on their instruments. Receive what cheer you may. The night is long that never finds the day.
I have 2 nights watched with you, but can perceive no truth in your report. When was it she last walked?
Since His Majesty went into the field, I have seen her rise from her bed, throw her nightgown upon her, unlock her closet, take forth paper, fold it, write upon it, read it, afterward seal it, and again return to bed. All this while in a most fast sleep.
A great perturbation in nature to receive at once the benefit of sleep and do the line effects of watching. In this slumbery agitation, besides her walking and other actual performances, what at any time have you heard her say?
That which I will not report after her.
You made to me 'tis most meet you should.
Not to you nor anyone, having no witness to confirm my speech. Lo you, here she comes, this her very guise, and upon my life, fast asleep. Observe her, stand close.
How came she by that light?
Why, it stood by her. She has light by her continually. 'Tis her command.
You see, her eyes are open.
Aye, but their sense is shut.
What is it she does now? Look how she rubs her hands.
'Tis an accustomed action with her to seem thus washing her hands. I have known her to continue in this a quarter of an hour.
Yet here's a spot. Hark, she speaks. I will set down what comes from her to satisfy my remembrance the more strongly.
Out! Damn spot! Out, I say! 1, 2. Why then, 'tis time to do it. Hell is murky. Fly, my lord, fly. A soldier and a feared? What need we fear? Who knows it, when none can call our power to account? Yet who would have thought the old man to have had so much blood in him?
Do you mark that?
The Thane of Fife had a wife. Where is she now? What? Will these hands ne'er be clean? No more of that, my lord. No more of that. You mar all with this starting.
Go to. You have known what you should not.
She has spoken what she should not. I am sure of that. Heaven knows what she has known.
Here's the smell of blood still. All the perfumes of Arabia will not sweeten this little hand. Ah!
What a sigh is there. The heart is sorely charged.
I would not have such a heart in my bosom for the dignity of the whole body.
Well.
Pray it be, sir.
This disease is beyond my practice, yet I have known those which have walked in their sleep and died holily in their beds.
Wash your hands. Put on your nightgown. Look not so pale. I tell you, Banquo's buried. He cannot come out of his grave.
Even so.
To bed. To bed. There's knocking at the gate. Come. Give me your hand. What's done cannot be undone. To bed. To bed. To bed.
Will she now go to bed?
Directly.
Foul whisperings are abroad. Unnatural deeds do breed unnatural troubles. Infected minds to their death pillows will discharge their secrets. More needs she the divine than the physician. God forgive us all. Look after her, remove from her the means of all annoyance, and still keep eyes upon her. So good night. My mind she has mated and amazed my sight. I think, but dare not speak.
Good night, good doctor.
Bring me no more reports. Let them fly all, till Burnham Wood remove to Dunsinane. I cannot taint with fear. What's the boy Malcolm? Was he not born of woman? The spirits that know all mortal consequence have pronounced me thus. Fear not, Macbeth. No man that's born of woman shall e'er have power upon thee. So fly, false thanes, and mingle with the English epicures. The mind I sway by and the heart I bear shall never shake with fear nor sag with doubt. The devil damn thee, black, thou cream-faced loon. Where got'st thou this goose look?
There is 10,000.
Peace, villain.
Soldier, sir.
Go prick thy face and o'er-red thy fear, thou lily-livered boy. What soldiers, Wayface? Oh, death of thy soul, these linen cheeks are counselors to fear. What soldiers, Patch?
The English force so please you.
Take thy face hence. Satan! I am sick at heart when I behold Satan, I say. This push will cheer me ever or deceit me now. I have lived long enough. My way of life has fallen into the sere, the yellow leaf, and that which should accompany old age is honor, love, obedience, troops of friends I must not look to have, but in their stead curses, not loud but deep, and mouth honor, breath that the heart would fain to deny but dare not. Satan!
What's your gracious pleasure?
What news more?
All is confirmed, my lord, which was reported.
I will fight till from my bones my flesh be hacked. Give me my armor.
'Tis not needed yet.
I'll put it on! Send out the horses! Scour the country round! Hang those that talk of fear! Give me my armor!
How does your patient, doctor? Not so sick, my lord, as she is troubled with thick coming fancies that keep her from her rest.
Cure her of that. Canst thou not minister to a mind diseased? Pluck from the memory a rooted sorrow? Raise out the written troubles of the brain, and with some sweet, oblivious antidote, cleanse the stuffed bosom of that perilous stuff that weighs upon the heart.
Therein the patient must minister to himself.
Throw physics to the dogs. I'll none of it. Give me my armor. Where is my staff? Satan, send out. Doctor, the veins fly from me. Come, sir. Dispatch. Doctor, if thou couldst, cast the waters of my land, find her disease, and purge it to a sound, pristine health. If thou couldst, I would applaud thee to the very echo, and that should applaud again. Pull it out, I say. What rhubarb senna or what purgative drug would scour these English hens? Hearest thou of them?
Aye, my good lord, your royal preparation makes us hear something.
Bring it behind me. I'll not afraid of death and bane till Burnham Forest come to Dunsinane.
Were I from Dunsinane, away and clear, profit again should hardly draw me here.
Cousins, I hope that days are near at hand that Chambers will be safe.
We doubt it nothing.
What wood is this before us?
The wood of Burnham.
Let every soldier hew him down a bough and bear it before him. Thereby shall we shadow the numbers of our host and make discovery ere in report of us.
It shall be done.
We learn no other, but the confident tyrant keeps still in Dunsinane, and will endure our setting down before it.
'Tis his main hope. For where there is advantage to be given, both more and less have given him the revolt, and none serve with him but constrained things whose hearts are absent too.
Let our just censures attend the true event, and put we on industrious soldiership.
The time approaches that will with due decision make us know what we shall say we have and what we owe. Thoughts speculative, their unsure hopes relate, but certain issue strokes must arbitrate, toward which advance the war.
Hang our banners on the outward wall. The cry is still, they come. Our castle's strength will laugh a siege to scorn. There let them lie till famine and the ague eat them up. Were they not forced those that should be ours, we might have met them dareful, beard to beard, and beaten them backward. What is that noise?
It is the cry of women, my lord.
There had been a time when my senses would have cooled to hear a night shriek, and my fell of hair would at dismal treatise rouse and stir as life were in it. I have supped full with horrors. Direness familiar to my slaughterous thoughts cannot once start me. Wherefore was the cry?
The queen, my lord, is dead.
She should have died hereafter. There would have been time for such a word. Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to the last syllable of recorded time. And all our yesterdays are lighted fools the way to dusty death. Out! Out! Breathe candle!
Life has been a walking shadow, a poor player who struts and frets his hour about the stage and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury and signifying nothing. Thy comes to use thy tongue, thy story quickly.
Gracious my lord, I should report that which I say I saw, but know not how to do it.
Well, say, sir.
As I did stand my watch upon the hill, I looked toward Burnham, and anon methought the wood began to move.
Liar and slave!
Let me endure your wrath, if it not be so. Within this 3 mile, may you see it coming, I say, a moving grove.
If thou liest, upon the next tree will you hang until the famine eats you. Oh! If thou speakest true, I care not if thou dost as much for me. I pull in equivocation and begin to doubt the equivocation of those fiends that lie like truth. Fear not till Burnham wood come towards Dunsinane, and now a wood comes toward Dunsinane? Arm and out! If that which he avouches does appear, there is no flying hence nor tarrying here. I begin to weary of the sun, and wish the state of the world were now undone. Ring the alarm bell! Blow wind, come rack! At least we'll die with armor on our back!
Now near enough. Your leafy screens throw down and show like those you are. Worthy uncle, you and my cousin, your right noble son, shall lead our first battle. Worthy Macduff and we will take upon what else remains according to our order.
Fare you well. Do we but find the tyrant's power tonight? Let us be beaten if we cannot fight.
Make all our trumpets speak. Give them all breath. Those clamorous harbingers of blood and death!
They have tied me to a stake. I cannot fly, but bear-like, I must stay the course. What's he that was not born of woman? Such a one am I to fear, or none.
What is thy name?
Thou wilt be afraid to hear it.
No, though 'tis a hotter name than any is in hell.
My name's Macbeth.
The devil himself could not pronounce a title more hateful to mine ear.
No, nor more fearful.
Thou liest, abhorred tyrant. My sword, I'll prove the lie thou speakst.
Thou wast born of woman. Swords I smile upon, weapons laugh to scorn, brandished by one who's of woman born.
That way the noise is. Tyrant, show thy face! If thou beest slain, and with no stroke of mine, my wife and children's ghosts will haunt me still. I cannot strike at wretched kerns whose arms were hired to bear their staves. Either thou, Macbeth, or my sword with unbattered edge I sheath again undeeded. There thou shouldst be. By this great clatter, one of the greatest notes seems brooded. Let me find him, fortune, and more, I beg not.
This way, my lord, the castle's gently rendered. The tyrant's people on both sides do fight. The noble thanes do bravely in the war. The day almost itself professes yours, and little is to do.
We have met with foes who strike beside us.
Enter, sir, the castle.
Why should I play the Roman fool and die upon mine own sword? Whilst I see lives, the gashes do better upon them.
Turn. Hellhound. Turn!
Of all men else, I have avoided thee. Get thee back! My soul is too much charged with blood of thine already.
I have no words. My voice is in my sword. Thou bloodier villain than terms can give thee. Out!
Thou losest labor. As easy mayst thou the entrenchant air impress with thy keen blade as make me bleed. Let fall thy blade on vulnerable crests. I bear a charmed life which must not yield to one of woman born.
To spare thy charm, and let the angel whom thou hast served tell thee, Macduff was from his mother's womb untimely ripped.
Cursed be the tongue which tells me so, for it hath cowed my better part of man. And be these juggling fiends no more believed, that palter with us in a double sense, who keep the word of promise to our ear and break it to our hope. I'll not fight thee.
Then yield thee, coward, and live to be the show and gaze of the time. We'll have thee, as our rarer monsters are, painted on a pole and underwrit. Here may you see the tyrant!
I will not yield to kiss the ground before young Malcolm's feet, or be baited by the rabble's curse. Though Burnham would become to Dunsinane, and thou opposed being of no woman born, I will try the last. Before my body I throw my warlike shield. Lay on, Macduff, and damned be he that first cries, hold! Enough!
I wish the friends we missed were safe arrived.
Some must go off, and yet by these I see, so great a day as this is cheaply bought.
Macduff is missing, and your noble son.
Your son, my lord, has paid a soldier's debt. He only lived but till he was a man, the which no sooner had his prowess confirmed in the unshrinking station where he fought, but like a man he died.
Then he is dead?
Aye, and brought off the field. Your cause of sorrow must not be measured by his worth, for then it hath no end.
Had he his hurts before?
Aye, on the front.
Why then God's soul be his. Had I as many sons as I have hairs, I would not wish them to a better, fairer death. And so, his knell is knolled.
He's worth more sorrow, and that I'll spend for him.
He's worth no more. They say he parted well and paid his score. And so, God be with him. Here comes newer comfort.
Hail, King, for so thou art. Behold, where stands the usurper's cursed head. The time is free. I see thee compassed with thy kingdom's pearl, that speak my salutation in their moorings, whose voices I desire aloud with mine. Hail, King of Scotland!
Hail, King of Scotland!
We shall not spend a large, expensive time before we reckon with your several loves and make us even with you. My thanes and kinsmen henceforth be earls, the first ever Scotland and such an honor named. What's more to do, which will be planted newly with the time, as calling forth our exiled friends abroad who fled the snares of watchful tyranny, producing the cruel ministers of this dead butcher and his fiend-like queen, who, as 'tis thought, by self and violent hands took off her life. This, and what needful else that calls upon us by the grace of grace, we will perform in measure, time, and place. So thanks to all at once, and to each one whom we invite to see us crowned at Scone.